And cleanup is underway after a deadly storm affected millions from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic. Nearly 120,000 people across 4 states lost power. Governors in North Carolina and Virginia declared states of emergency. Chris Van Cleve has more from Ashburn, Virginia.
The massive winter storm stretched more than 1,400 miles and spread havoc across roadways throughout the Midwest. In parts of Missouri, more than 20 inches fell.
I got in as far as I could off the road, and that was it.
Drivers caught in the snow and ice were stranded for hours, with Missouri police responding to more than 900 crashes over the weekend.
Trucks out, we were ready to go, but the intensity, we couldn't keep up.
At least 4 people died on Missouri roads, including Deanne and Olivia Phillips. Deanne lost control of her car on a snow-covered road and drifted into the path of an oncoming vehicle. In Wilson, Kansas, tow truck drivers were busy pulling cars off the side of Interstate 70. And in Indiana, I-65 looked like a semi-parking lot after a crash shut down part of the freeway for hours. The storm caused travel chaos at airports across the nation, too. On Friday, this plane slid off the runway in Columbia, Missouri as it was taxiing to the gate. No one was hurt. More than 800 flights were canceled over the weekend, thousands more delayed due to whiteout conditions. The effects of the storm could be felt as far south as North Carolina, where ice brought down trees and power lines. In the nation's capital, the storm dropped 10 inches of snow, becoming the worst winter storm here since 2016. The snow has stopped falling. People here in this part of Virginia have up to 11 inches of snow to dig out from. The concern now, the really cold temperatures. That'll keep roads icy and treacherous, and there's the potential of another winter storm coming through Virginia by the weekend. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Ashburn, Virginia.
And CBS News weather producer David Parkinson is tracking the forecast. David, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so well, that storm is gone. It is already another storm that we're tracking as it will move from coast to coast. But the folks in California are really going to have a tough couple of days. Let's begin with what we've got right now on the radar. You can see all of the rains moving up out of the south, but it's these individual little cells that when they train over the same area, you get enough rain where you can have flash flooding. So if we zoom in here, we'll take a look at this one particular cell. This one is just to the west of Malibu. And the thing that we're watching about this one is you have a rainfall rate of 0.32 in some of these darker green areas. But as soon as you get into the yellow, that's about a half an inch of rain. Once you get to this orange right here, that's 3/4 of an inch of rain, and a red right there, that's an inch of rain an hour. If you get a red over an area for even 15-20 minutes, that's enough to cause mudslides. And sure enough, this is just west of Malibu where they've had some mudslide concerns. So any place that had a forest fire in the last year, they've got to be on a high alert for this storm. Here's the big picture, right? You've got one low pressure system right here. That's this one set of storms, but we've got another 2 actually moving in from the Pacific Northwest. So we'll be continuing to watch that over the week. As we take a look at the futurecast here, you can see we're watching Tuesday afternoon. Again, really heavy rain in the LA area, but all the way up into San Francisco. And in the Sierra, you've got a foot or 2 of snow on Tuesday alone. Then we advance it. We take a look at what we're going to see on Wednesday. More snow for the Sierra, another foot or 2. But there's the heaviest rain in the Los Angeles area. That's early Thursday morning. And then it begins snowing in the Wasatch. It begins snowing in the Rockies as well. They could potentially get a foot of snow out of that storm. And then as we head into the weekend, we're fairly dry. That's the good news, but then we watch some storms for next week. So it's a tough Monday through Thursday period that we're really watching out for, particularly in Southern California, for the wildfire risk. The other thing that you're going to be talking about coast to coast is just how cold it's going to be. Here's a look at the temperature maps. You can see the blue, that's your 32-degree line, and you can see most of the country is going to be getting down to freezing in some of the morning hours, but it's really the weekend where the cold just takes hold. You've got from a zonal flow of the jet stream to a real deep dive here, and that's going to set up a perfect storm trap for the East Coast. But take a look at some of these purples here. Those are temperatures below 0. So for that playoff game in Kansas City on CBS, you're going to be dealing with some single digits and some wind chills actually below 0. So that's going to be really uncomfortable. Finally, West Coast, there's the coldest actually air for Sunday PM. You can see it dips all the way down. There's Kansas City right there, your coldest air there. And the temps actually in Minnesota could be in the negative teens or negative 20s. That's how cold it will be. But again, you've got a cold pattern that feeds right into the East Coast. So when we take a look at your storm forecast for the East Coast for next week, here's what's going on. We've got a little bit of a snow shower chance into Friday morning, particularly in the Northeast. But then we watch this next storm system move in Friday morning. Snow north north of New York City, maybe a couple inches up into the Green Mountains. But finally, this is the big ticket. As we move on into the weekend, another storm system comes up from the south, and one of two things will happen. It will be either rain right along the coast, at heavy rain and then heavy snow for the mountains, or instead, the cold air will shift just far south enough, and we will see really heavy snow for the entire northeast corridor from D.C. to New York. We're tracking it all week. That's going to be the big story that everybody's talking about all week long in the weather world.
So us here on the East Coast, we are not going to emerge unscathed. All right, David Parkinson, thank you so much. That's right.